Treat this looks like this is a real event. What are the things that stand out? If a friend ran up to you and said, you said, guess what happened? What would be some of the first things you would say? This is a good rule to use, remember?
My teacher cheated on her husband.
My teacher cheated on her husband.
My teacher got caught cheating on her husband.
My teacher got caught. And then more specifically, during class. Okay, something that happens during class is of interest, right? You remember last year, beginning of the year, something a teacher did kind of something outrageous. It happened during class.
No,
The gun went on?
The gun went off. And Todd's colleague.
Where?
He had it out of his pocket. It was in chemistry lab, right?
Chemistry lab. Yeah.
So,
Why do you have a gun in his pocket?
well, he has, he's
Because he
young, he's
can.
permanent, everything was legal, he's still teaching here. He didn't hurt himself too bad, it was in his foot. Then it set up a firestorm because the police were notified before the campus security and, they were upset. Okay, but anyways, get back to this. So you have to think about what would go in the lead, what, of course, the what, when, where, why, how, but what are some of the most important things that really stood out about what just happened?
You were wearing the wrong ring.
Okay, I was wearing the wrong wedding ring, he had the ring with him. Okay, so any kind of props I call them, I should, any kind of objects, you want to make sure to include. So what kind of objects do we have here?
Flowers.
Flowers.
Marriage.
Marriage certificate. See, we love it. Photos of the other guy. Okay, so put that down. The wedding bands. Okay, I was wearing another ring. What did I try to do when he accused me?
Hide your hand.
I was hiding my hand. He had to kind of bring out my hand. And then I came up, now you want to record some of my excuses, and while you're still, it's kind of fresh, what are some of the better lines, I guess you could say, of the thing?
You wanted 2 men.
I wanted 2 men.
To myself.
To myself, I wanted 2 men, I freaked out. By the way, we recorded this, you probably saw me with the cameras. I wasn't very subtle today. Apology maybe. What did Virginia say exactly, do you remember?
She said, I'm not covering. It's been a year, I'm not covering.
Okay, something like, it's been a year, over a year, I'm not covering you for you anymore, right? What are some of the other quotes? So this is one that's still kind of fresh in your mind. Try to get the quotes down. And of course you'll have this. Grayson?
I have a stalker.
I have a stalker. Okay, so that would probably be good in the chronology. That was kind of funny. And then he had a little closing line that might be good to include.
And words, I forgot who he said though.
There is a record.
It's a song.
It's country
It
western.
was very good. He added that.
Leave me alone, isn't that what you said?
All I want.
All I want you to leave me is alone. So you can
So-
have all those stuff, and I just want you to leave me. Is
And in the
just leave me
song,
alone.
it says you can have those fancy shoes you had to have and all this, and then all I want is for you to leave me alone.
So it's country western. like
That's
that.
very good. Okay, other lines.
When he had the ring, you were like, oh, I found it. Or you found it.
Okay, so there was some deception going on, more than, once in the whole thing, of course. But, so I'm excited. Now, any kind of, we really like to see, I mentioned TV news. We really like to see what?
Faces, your facial expression.
Okay, facial expressions, yes, and
They
next
were
to that.
crazy.
They were crazy. I had no problem with that, but, huh?
Emotions.
Emotions. Okay, so where was some of the most, if any kind of, if the person does something extreme, it goes in your story, right? Do you remember back
When you,
when we,
The flowers.
okay, the flowers. Flowers. You know I was going to do that. We needed to have that in there.
did you think she was serious at first?
Low key, I was like really confused.
He's back here being like, I hope this isn't real. I don't
I was
know.
like,
Nice. Okay.
And then finally he was like, this is staged. I'm like, no.
That's good. He has a innocent heart, and I love that.
I was almost fooled by you.
I was like, oh,
acting at the beginning.
I think
But you were laughing a little.
Why?
I kept it together.
Talk about this now. Did it at that point? Personally.
You're at that point. Okay. Okay, good. Now you see that you want to get each other's quotes, but of course you want to act like it's serious that it really happened. But getting back to the thing, so what were some of the emotional moments that you would, any kind of movements, dramatic?
You kissed his foot.
Okay, I was groveling, right? So I'm groveling, I'm on my knees, and so you have to be a little bit of a storyteller, but be truthful storyteller. What was she exactly doing?
You're crawling
Okay.
across the floor.
I was crawling across the floor, begging, groveling. whatever words you want to use for that. All right. Okay, what else? The flowers. You got the flowers. Why was I upset about the flowers?
No, you just tried to make it seem like you didn't like want them in a way.
I didn't want them. I was frustrated because of what? Well, the jig was up, kind of, right? It was, and Virginia was turning me in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to understand the motivation why these things happen, and that would be probably the motivation there. She seemed upset. You may have to, now since you're an eyewitness, at some point you may need to mention, this reporter was present as the events unfolded. You don't have to, you can make it work without that, but that way it explains why you're not quoting people or according to police records. In this case, there are police records, but you might have to mention at some point that you were present, but you would say this reporter, not I was present. Okay. All right. So the flowers. I was upset with Virginia. Didn't I touch Virginia at some point? Did I push her or anything?
No, you went like this, you went behind him and you were...
Oh, that's right. I was like telling her, yeah, to keep my secret.
Don't say that. It was...
Okay. This could have gone a lot worse. I'm glad.
She took the pictures. Oh yeah, you did throw the pictures.
I threw the pictures. Yes, I forgot that. I threw the pictures. And then he did what?
Held the certificate over you and said you promised.
Okay, ripped the certificate. So those are, very symbolic acts that you would want to include in this. Okay? Now, there's probably other things, and the video will remind you, but since Todd is still here, and he has an appointment, I believe, at 12, let's ask him some questions, because let's say you've been able to interview, let's say call him the victim, and interview him now.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about she cheating on me?
Yeah.
I'm just still in a state of shock over her actions over the past even years now. It has been just, she's been living a double life, apparently. I'm shocked that I've been so gullible and so deceived by her double life that she's been living. And it just really makes me think poorly of humanity that we can't even enter a monogamous relationship with even our wives and promise that we maintain that.
Okay, that's a long quote. You probably can't use all that.
Can you just kind of skip around to, like, if you didn't hear everything, but just kind of like, I have this part?
Well, you're going to get this on the video, which you wouldn't normally have, right? But yes, you want to kind of listen backwards. As you're writing, continue listening. It's a skill that journalists have to master. Can anyone repeat that as much as you remember? What you just said, Grayson?
From what I wrote?
Yeah.
I'm still in a state of shock over her actions of the past couple of years. She's been living a double life. I'm shocked I've been so gullible and deceived. I'm disappointed in society that we can't maintain monogamy even with our wives.
Okay, that's pretty close. I think he used monogamous and humanity at some point, but that's because the meaning is you haven't changed the meaning. I would say that's pretty usable, and you can also check it on the video later. Okay, that was very good. Okay, that was a good question. So you would probably just do a one line from that, maybe half of that. You wouldn't want to use all of that if you end up using it because it's too long. But that's good. They need to be able to discern. They need to be able to discern, what to use. Okay, what else? Anything else for Todd?
Yes.
How long have you suspected that she's been cheating on you?
Or have you?
Or have you?
Honestly, I have just started putting it together within the last few days. But I think the finding her wedding band on the bathroom floor, like it was thrown away, was the final straw. Was what really got me to put two and two together and realize what she's been doing. That's why I had to take that bold action to get all these witnesses to
You're going to get me fired.
get her fired, I guess. Nothing else.
Is that like your final revenge?
To get her fired?
Yeah. Or would it?
No, I wouldn't want her to lose her job. I mean, Charlie doesn't seem to be too much of seems more like a homebody, so she probably needs to support him. His flower choice is not particularly expensive, so she probably needs to be the breadwinner for Charlie. So I don't want her to lose her job, but certainly lose her reputation as a as a ethical journalism teacher.
So have her job when nobody really
Like,
wants to learn from a cheater.
Yeah. Ethics is not her strong point.
She'll get paid, just with no respect.
That was good. Follow-up questions, Josie. Did you hear that? So she's like, what do you mean then? How could she, so Josie made sense of on the spot, what Todd was saying, and then asked some follow-up. That was good. Other questions? Wow, you guys are so
what's the
nice.
motive as far as coming to her class? Was it just to eventually make her, become or ruin her job, or whatever the case was, not necessarily, have her quit? Or like, why couldn't she just wait to be at home and have this conversation with your wife?
I wanted to wait until we got home, to talk about it, not make it a public spectacle as it happened to be. But it was like just the anger and it just bubbling up inside me since this morning. And I just couldn't hold it in for another 3 hours. I had to get this out. I had to figure this out, or whatever the problem is. I had to fix the problem, whatever it is. Now, and I knew from her schedule that she had a journalism class at this point, so at this time of the day. So I thought this would be a good time to confront her. I apologize for breaking up your class, but I think it's that important.
Speaking of journalism class this time, it would be good to note the time. He came in, about 15 minutes ago? So you would note that in your article. You want those specifics. So about 11:20.
Yeah, between 11:15 and 11:20.
Okay, and then even when Virginia came in, that would have been, about 5 minutes after that?
Yeah, a few minutes.
So maybe 3 minutes after that. Okay, we'll note that. Okay, so one thing we touched on, but you might want to ask more questions about that. You start to think about if it bleeds, it leads. Okay, obviously there's no, though that might be the next stunt, murder.
You almost cried, like you were pretending to cry when you put your hands in your.
Yes, okay, so I got emotional. I wish my theater skills were better, Samantha, sorry. Could have improvised that. I could have rehearsed that more, but anyway. So you can say I cried, or she seemed to cry, or whatever. But how about the bigger implications here? You mentioned the job. It's bigamy, right? Because the people don't seem to know about it. In fact, that would be another question about Charlie, which we were going to talk
Oh,
about.
that's right.
Is Charlie
Is Charlie married to me, you mean?
to
Or?
another woman?
Well, yeah, is Charlie married to another woman? That could be. And I would say, I don't know. I hope not. Better not be. Right, but then there's another question.
You, even though.
You better not cheat on me. All right, so you get to question me in a minute, but what else about Charlie?
Did you know him?
No, I don't know Charlie, and he doesn't know
Or did
me.
they have a past?
Okay, so you're supposed to ask, does Charlie know about Todd? Right, and at some point Todd was going to ask me that, and then he doesn't. He does not know about Todd, for the purposes of this. Okay, but in terms of bigamy, when the party's married, they think they're married to the one woman, okay, and it's not a consensual bigamy arrangement. That could be a problem. How so, do you think? Legally, right? So if it bleeds, it leads. Here we don't have, deaths and injuries, but there could be jail time, right? There could be charges. So that would be something to research, but you could ask. You already asked Todd, should she go to jail? You kind of covered that. Are there any other related questions about that? You can ask me in a minute, but think if there's anything else. Yes.
This is maybe a little bit more dramatic, but how do you feel about Charlie himself? It seems like you didn't like him because maybe he doesn't have a good career, or...
I'm assuming based upon how he dresses, the quality of flowers he purchased for his wife.
He's blonde.
He is blonde, yes. That he's not either he's not very wealthy, or he's at least a very thrifty person. So that I sort of made those assumptions based upon sort of what he looks like and his purchases, but.
But do you dislike him?
Well, I don't know him, but.
Okay, but he does send me flowers. Okay, he does
But does-
send me flowers.
But he doesn't know that you're married to me,
It's really, it's all your
so we're kind of both in the same boat.
What's my fault?
everything.
Well, I mean, okay, let's just, we'll bridge over to this. Yes?
Is there anything you've done recently that could have led her to seek other men?
Good question.
Ooh.
Good
What have
question.
you done?
Nice. Grayson is nice.
Blame it on me.
Seems pretty mean to me.
What have the past couple of years, I do spend a lot of time reading in the basement of our house. So maybe she gets lonely, I don't know. We have 4 or 5 dogs, but I guess that's not enough. So maybe I take a little bit of the blame.
Like, the blame's still on you.
What about my trips? We didn't get to that.
Oh, yeah, your trips. That was the first part. Just the emotions.
Trips.
I've been taking some trips lately.
She didn't take a lot of.
That's not really, that was for research.
Your research trips, right?
So they say.
Yeah. So my suspicions were the research trips that she'd been taking, but she hadn't really produced any publications or anything. So I don't.
Research takes a long time,
She has these
people.
4-day weekends
Sometimes
and her
years.
schedules, so maybe that's why.
Research takes a long time, sometimes years to reach publication.
That's true, but
Okay. Anything else for Todd?
Do you have any children with Charlie? And that's to you.
Do I have any children with Charlie?
do you have any children, Charlie? It's gonna be like a Maury Povich episode.
No, I do not.
No dogs?
No, I do not.
Do you need
Yeah.
How many dogs do you have with Charlie?
The pit bull. I have one pit bull with Charlie. That's why she growls. That's why she growls at you, because she misses Charlie.
Just Charlie.
Good, that was good. Anything else for Todd?
Do you feel like you are better for Judy than Charlie is?
Oh, dear.
I felt like I've supported Judy for the past 9 or 10 years now, and I thought that we had a nice, happy home. But apparently I was wrong.
Remember when you proposed
Yeah,
in class? That was nice.
I know.
Yeah, but you cheated on
How did Charlie propose?
Yeah, how did Charlie propose?
Well,
Wow.
it was really romantic. I don't want to talk about it for Todd. Anyway,
You could like hurt his feelings.
Yeah,
Use moose doing trip.
it was
he loves moose. Charlie loves moose.
okay.
Anyway, there was something else I thought of.
Yes, question.
Just one last question. If we were comparing you to Charlie and the flowers that are sent, do you send flowers and what kind of flowers would you send?
That's a good question.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'll answer this as my character, not as. I know the answer.
What? Yeah, okay, let's hear the character.
The character? The character,
Character, he has to be in a character.
so I can sort of avoid implicating myself. And the character sends her flowers.
Meaning him, Todd,
Yeah, well, yeah, the character.
or you, the Todd character.
Hypothetical.
The divorced Todd character, yes. Former husband of Judy. The now available. So I send you not only flowers, chocolates, edible arrangements. Just every morning I wake up and I just find something that you like and send it to you. But apparently, you never mentioned it.
I
so-
don't remember that, but that sounds
so
wonderful.
Maybe Virginia just threw it away. Maybe she had instructions to throw away my gifts. I don't know.
So I remember my question that if I do away with Charlie, if I get rid of Charlie, will you have me? Will you still have me?
No.
But I love you. I love you.
But if she needs
Apparently that
two
doesn't
men and
mean-
she
She'll
goes
find
to
another
zero,
man.
I don't
She already
know.
claimed that she-
Dad doesn't, once a cheater, always a cheater.
I love you. I want to continue. I want to continue. Yeah.
Well, it's too late for that. Continue with Charlie, and if it doesn't
I don't
work
want
out,
Charlie.
then
Well, at least I still have Charlie. At least I
Would you
still have
make her call
Charlie.
her- Would you make her call Charlie, like right
You'll
now?
never find him.
If you left with Charlie, you wouldn't have your dogs anymore.
My dogs.
You can take
She,
the
No, you
I
can
get
have
my
the dog.
dogs. My dogs,
you can
yeah.
have everything.
Will you come walk the dogs even after you've left the
For
house?
$20 an hour, I'll walk the dogs.
Okay, then, okay.
With $5 per bag of business to pick up.
Your business out.
All right, but then I want truthful counting.
I'll show you the bags of, garbage bags of,
You're gonna carry them around.
I do.
Good. We're gonna do some arrangements to make sure, but.
You can do it per pound or whatever you want to do it by, it doesn't matter.
How was your first reaction when you noticed that her wedding band was on the floor?
At first, I was concerned. At first, I thought there was an accident, that she takes it off and then she puts it back on in the morning. But then I saw another photo of Charlie on the bathroom mirror, and I thought I was putting two and two together.
It was just all of a sudden there.
Very discreet.
It was just.
That was just, that
It
was a part of a
it
greater
was turned- It
collage.
was, it was turned around, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw it was turned around, I said, what's this? I
And
turned
on the
around.
back of it was a picture of you.
Yes, on back of, it was a double frame, it was a double photo there. And so I started, that was only like the 5th time I've seen this photo of Charlie.
Only?
And,
Why have you seen it before?
well, I've seen other photos of Charlie.
Right.
The same photo, but
So where'd you find
Disney
the,
World
where'd you
and-
find the other pictures? Because you just said there was.
Yeah,
just
where did you
one.
find these?
Did you snoop like around?
Yeah,
your
just Snoop.
wife's
Yeah,
things?
Josie.
I thought I had a right to. That
You said that you have trust in your relationship, or?
Well, I wanted to believe that this was just some old college friend or something, but seeing over the years, them growing older together in these photos, I just had to find the truth. And so I did look around a little bit,
That's a good quote.
and
Seen them through the
to
years.
find more
grow older
evidence that this has been going on for a couple of years. And so that's in the wedding ring, and then I noticed that in the photos, she had this other wedding band on, and it just all made sense to me. All came together.
So if a woman takes off her wedding ring, she's cheating.
Joseph, you said you
Not necessarily, but
Making him feel like he.
in these photos, if you look carefully, you notice that it's not our wedding band on her.
Let me see. Wow.
So it's that really strange, probably like $5 Walmart ring that he bought you.
Don't put Charlie down. Don't put Charlie down.
I know it's a thought that counts, but it's just,
Well, these were good questions. Anything else for Todd? Todd might be able to convince Virginia to come back in here, and you can ask her some questions.
yeah, I'll try to.
Okay, never mind. So anything else for Todd?
I can ask him.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So if you don't mind doing that,
Ask him, Jimmy.
go and ask from Virginia to see if she'll
She
come
may
back
not be able
up.
to.
She might not be able to. So you might have to go down and see her. Now, at this point, I'd like you to talk to each other to get some
Do they want to
reactions.
quote you?
Yeah, but they can, you want to stay for that? You need to do
No,
your
I-
appointment,
So,
yeah.
so if we're, so say I didn't ask all of the questions, but I have to.
Sorry about everything.
They're sorry for you.
Okay.
I'm not sure about you. So, since I didn't ask all the questions, how do you say that? Like, say say like Grace must.
Well, you don't normally want to put the question. I'm glad you asked this.
No, I mean, but like the answer to the question, because I can't exactly, like, if it's my story, I can't be like just.
Oh, yes, you can.
So
Yes, you can. When you're in a press conference or, you know, something where there's a lot of reporters there, oh, yeah, you definitely can use.
All the names, or do
No, you don't.
Answers?
You don't even mention, yeah, you just just mention the answers usually and weave it into a narrative. And I will send you some examples of this because, you know, things keep happening in my class every semester. I don't know how, but so we have a wedding. We actually have 2 wedding proposals. First time I turned them down. Then we have another one. We have several things that have happened in my class, and some students did a really good job with them in previous semesters, going back 10
You do
years.
this often.
Yes.
So your acting should be good.
Yeah, good point. Good point. It's actually, yeah, it's declined. Yeah, you were really doing well there now. I surprised Todd. I thought he would be really good. Last time, Paula got me arrested in class, and she was really good. She was very, very good. It was I did not keep a straight face. In fact, that is the next video on this series. So I will let you see that video, and you can work that into your story. But that would just be something you would add maybe at the end as the kicker, that she's been arrested before. All right, so that is very funny because Paula is very good. Her acting is really good.
When Todd was near the door, he was kind of like laughing because he was breaking character, but can you say something like, he was laughing because he thought you were like so pathetic begging for him?
Yeah, I guess you can, but you know, don't get carried away with, you try to keep it kind of straightforward and simple for yourself, you know, and just kind of go with the illusion of it. Yeah, so before you ask me things though, why don't you get some reactions from each other, you know, what you thought of what happened, and just turn to the person, someone around you, or you can walk around or whatever. Okay, you want to write down some reaction quotes. By the way, we have 2 people who aren't here. They're going to need to get those quotes from somebody in the class. They might be emailing you because they'll have the video of this, but they're going to need to do some of their own. The people who aren't here. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, I may or may not answer them. Don't know if I feel like it. Why'd I do what?
Why'd you cheat? You cheated.
When you have love for someone, that is a law unto itself. So love is a law unto itself.
Is a
Therefore,
law?
it's
What does love have to do with cheating?
it's not cheating if it's genuine love.
Why is it keep it
You can't love 2 people though.
I was going to tell them. I was going to tell both men.
Not cheating.
You can love 2 people. Some of us have a special ability to love 2. If you've ever seen The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, it always comes down to 2, and they love 2 people. Okay.
But do they only pick one at the end?
Well, maybe they shouldn't have to.
But
Why
do
didn't
they?
you say anything?
I don't need to answer that.
So how would you feel if you found that your husband, either one of them, were doing the same thing?
Neither of my husbands would have additional wives.
But what if they did?
What if they did? I would be shocked. I mean, that's not like them. It would make me very upset, okay?
It's not okay for them to do it, but is it for you?
That's correct.
Have you-
It's okay for me, but not for them. And most people really don't have the ability to do this.
Virginia knew about your engagement for the last year. How long have you been married?
Virginia. I'm upset with Virginia.
Can we
And,
record on our phone?
yeah, but it's too late now.
No, it's not.
Like your
Continue
quotes?
questions.
Yeah, you can do that now, but that would have been good before. But I recorded it for you. Virginia has known, yes, and how long have we been married? Todd and I have been married for 9.5 years. Todd and I
And
have
how
been
long
married
were you, Charlie?
9.25 years. 9.25. 9.25.
That means
Everything
you-
happened at once. Can I say, it was kind of like I was the Bachelorette on that show, okay? And I didn't want to break 2 hearts.
Is that your final rose?
So,
Any other thing else?
what about you or your personality or how you think makes it okay for you but not for your husband?
I mean,
She has that special.
it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but thank you.
There's some so.
Considering the hit that your reputation took and that your morality is going to come into question, why do you think you deserve to keep your job?
I think that the university will understand and will support me through this difficult process of one husband emancipation. He's going to be freed. The other husband will hopefully stay. So I think that the university values me as a important member of the faculty. So yes, I do expect it. I completely expect to have my job.
If the dogs were representative of how much income each person has, it seems that Charlie is not very wealthy. How does that make you feel?
I don't understand. If the dogs are representative of the income?
Of the income, because obviously Todd can take care of more dogs because he has a good job.
I like
And
this.
It seems like,
I like this.
seems like Charlie doesn't have a good job.
Charlie is principally a dog kennel attendant at a local doggy daycare, and so you see why I love him. He has a way with dogs. Oh, I should have told you. Don't try to find Charlie. Okay, not his real name. Not his real name. Not his real name. So yes, he does not make much money, but
He has a loving heart.
yeah, you're right. I mean, money isn't everything. Okay, love is everything. Callie.
Are you worried about going to jail?
Am I worried about going to jail? I am a little, but you guys are nice.
What will you do? This
See
is gonna
you.
be published.
Ah! It's true. I am worried about going to jail, but that's going to it's going to have to wind its way through the courts, and Todd won't press charges, so maybe I won't go to jail. I don't know. Josie?
Do you think you deserve to stay with one of these men?
Both of the men. I told you I deserve my men, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Todd. I love Todd. But hopefully I'll at least end up with Charlie.
If he's not okay with you being with Charlie, would you leave Charlie for Todd?
If Todd would tell, Todd's my number one.
Oh,
Number one.
Todd is my number one husband. But it looks like it's over, so at least I want the crumbs. At
Yeah.
least Charlie, and he's so good with the dogs.
yeah. How
So
are you gonna support yourself?
I know. Well, hopefully I'll continue in this job. So just, please be favorable. Editorializing, is good in this case.
If Charlie was to leave you after you telling him the situation, and obviously Todd's not going to take you back, what are you going to do for yourself? Are you going to find 2 other men, or are you going to take one?
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen, Charlie. Charlie does not read newspapers, so he won't know. He won't know. As we know, most of us don't anyway in this day and age, so hopefully I won't need to find more men. Hopefully I won't need to find more men. Okay, so this sounds like we're kind of wrapping up, but do you have something else, Grayson?
Todd mentioned multiple vacations. Where were you going?
Okay, I did take some trips, like once a month I would go on a trip, and I don't want to speak to that at this time. I don't want to speak to that.
Virginia mentioned that you had received that she wasn't going to keep your secret anymore, and that you had received multiple gifts, should I say, as far as flowers from Charlie. My question to you is, how often was that? Was it like once a month, here and there? Or
Well, I mean,
twice?
the fact that she came to the classroom was very rude, but yes, there were other gifts, I will say. I really don't want to speak to that either, but yes, there were gifts, and they were very heartfelt, very loving. I mean, Todd said he gives me gifts. That's very funny. But Charlie, oh my goodness, because and sometimes there's just like a simple little thing like this. These were cheap flowers, but it's his heart. It's all about his heart. And I love Charlie.
How do you spell Charlie's name?
Charlie, just like it sounds.
It's spelled in many different ways, like with
Is
a
it
Y,
Liely?
It is IE. It is
Okay.
IE. Charlie's just making me blush, made me think of him. And did you see how sweet Todd was to clean up the room even? I mean, I'm torn between the 2 men, I'm telling you. Yes.
Regarding what you just said, you said that even though Todd gives you gifts, you thought that was very funny. Does that mean that you reject his gifts and his love to you?
Well, Todd gives me these real expensive gifts, like boxes of like Godiva chocolate and ho hum, Todd spends a lot of time in the basement reading books, okay, as he said. And he will walk the dogs now, but he will lock himself in the basement so the dogs won't go down there, and they're bothering me all the time. Whereas Charlie, they're simple expressions of his heart. He doesn't buy me these expensive gifts, but they're real, they're meaningful.
Does he spend more time with you and give you more attention?
Well, actually, I had to be around Todd more because we have a house, right? Charlie lives
man,
in the
dang
back
it.
of the doggy daycare.
Oh,
I should tell you that. But, so we, our times are limited together.
oh.
But Todd has a house, so I want to be in the house, he wouldn't blame me.
So, well, since you just said that, is that the reason why you're with Todd? Like, my question is, if Charlie is such a lovable person, he gives you meaningful gifts.
I love Todd, too. I love Todd.
What makes you love him?
Yeah,
From
good
what you're
point,
saying,
good
it's
point.
not
Maybe
too
I can
much.
do without, I'm Charlie.
Is it material kind of love?
Oh, maybe it is.
He takes care of you in a way?
Is
Yeah.
your sugar daddy?
Okay, you're doing what reporters.
I'm quoting now.
It's very tempting to try to get, kind of put words in people's mouths, and it's true that reporters do that, but be very careful about that, because that's kind of that is what they do, but you don't normally want to do that. But speaking of that, I don't know, I never thought of it before, but maybe he is my material provider, and maybe I am meant to just be with Charlie. I see now.
See, we're not big intervention.
You're helping me. You're helping me.
It's a good thing Charlie doesn't read the newspaper.
Yeah, Charlie doesn't read newspapers. These are so full questions.
At the end,
She graduated high
I
school.
told you he's going to ask for a divorce. Are you going to sign the papers or make him go through the course to get it?
He gave you everything.
Earlier, you're brilliant.
I do not want, I cannot speak to that right now. I'm very distraught. Grayson, Ludiker. I cannot speak to that. I don't want to sign no nothing, no never mind. I don't want to sign no nothing, no never mind. But then again, maybe after I calm down, I will.
Calm down, you seem pretty relaxed.
After I calm down on the inside, I think differently. But right now, I need to probably take a good nap to help me. And we all enjoy naps, don't we?
This is
Don't put words in my mouth.
Where does it Charlie think you are when you're at Todd's house?
Well, because of the economics of the relationship, he understands that I have to live separately. He does it. He's a very trusting soul. He doesn't know where I live. Good thing. All right, so I think this is good. You have some good stuff. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to get in this article, you're thinking, I don't have enough stuff to do. I don't have enough stuff to come with 500 words. You do, because this is not the best camera for this. Because Spot News, 500 plus words. Really, it's probably going to be more like between 600 and 800 once you get to all this, because you have all these wonderful quotes. Right now, you don't want to have too many quotes, and don't stack quotes. Remember what that is?
So you need to put like a little bit of like a transition between the
Exactly, perfect. Okay, but of course you have quotes, reaction quotes from your classmates. Of course, you have Todd's quotes, and you can say, if it helps it to make sense, Todd later said, or when interviewed later, that you don't normally call attention to the interview, remember? Now, Grace asked earlier, where do we put this reporter was present? Well, hopefully you don't need to. Okay, that's the kind of a last resort. But as you're writing your article, if it's not clear from the context that you were present, then you might have to put that in there. I'm going to be sending you examples. I'm going to put these examples on Moodle of the previous students' articles, okay? So like I said, we have had a lot of incidents in class. You can refer to these incidents, okay? So the prior arrests. I've been arrested 4 times. So that might be something you want to mention. Okay. Now the tricky thing is, once you get into that, and I do hope you do, probably at the end, I don't know, somewhere in there, you're going to have to kind of translate the jargon. Okay. So one of the things was for an illegal, it was a scripts. It was a forgery of a script. Okay, you'll have to translate. I forged a prescription for my doctor so I could get Oxycontin. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to translate it for the audience, or you're gonna have to use layman's terms. Okay, so you'll need to maybe ask someone. You can email me, but ideally, you're gonna find it online what that means, the terms. Okay, so also the prior incidents with Todd, okay, proposals. That would be a good thing to mention, especially why? It's kind of ironic, right? Now the breakup kind of is public in class, right? So that could be a good bookends, that could be a good kicker, that could be a good part of the chronology, something.
The what? Him coming in and proposing?
Well, because he had proposed in class.
He had proposed while he was
before, and
teaching.
And then
Now he came in to break off with me in class, right? So that's kind of a sad, you see the circle of life there.
What were the other 3 arrests?
Yes, well, that will be, you'll have access to that information. One was a bar fight. One was I stole Paula's dog. You'll have access to the video. But again, even though you have access to that video, that's not the main story here, right? We need the most new thing first, right? And then, so there was one was the kidnapping of the dog or the stealing of the dog. And the other one was I took the cash box for the departments. And I'll give you articles for that, but that was last fall.
Unfortunate that they got her. Nothing.
All right, so quotes, reactions from students, of course, Todd, me.
I don't need them.
All right. Prior arrests, prior proposals. What else? Of course, the chronology. Okay. Okay, and make sure that you're getting, of course, the 5 W's, the 1 H. All right. And then, you really want to think about, remember the thing about the guy who was the author who had the bottle and he just pushed aside a student to get out. You remember that little writing exercise? Well, this is sort of similar in that you have to choose, okay, what is the most interesting, what's the most important thing to choose for the lead? Okay, so this is going to be a challenge to write the lead. Okay, any other questions about this, what you're doing? One thing is, I would encourage you right now, I was hoping she'd come up here, go down and get Virginia. Okay? Because if maybe only some of you do that, then you'd be scooping. That could be a little bit of a scoop, right? Because you could get a quote from her. We need to make sure she's